Chef Braggs, let's get into it. Let's talk about your career as an executive chef and how you started. How did you get into this industry?
So first of all, thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate the time and the perspective and everything. I didn't grow up cooking, but it was something I've always been good at is being creative, and been creative my whole life. And let's see, like cooking was something I decided to do later on. I had always been into acting and drawing and doing all these really creative things when I was young. And after high school, originally I wanted to be a fashion designer. Still have this love for passion in the back of my mind, but things kind of went a different way on the path. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that I was supposed to find culinary arts and pursue that, because I was literally trying to find a school that I could get into where I could use my creativity and do what I already knew that I was good at. So I found culinary, and I didn't know how to cook, but I like to eat. And so like food, and like I said, I knew that about myself, in that I was creative, and that like I could learn this skill. Like it wasn't like I was just like, well, I don't know, let's just see what happens. Well, kind of, but like I was a little confident in what I was already good at. So I tried culinary. I really, really enjoyed it. I went to a small culinary school. It was very, very hands-on. I'm very thankful for my foundation at culinary school, because like I said, I didn't know how to cook. Culinary school is where I learned how to cook. So so thankful for that. And even now to this day, I am on the culinary board of my old culinary school, just because I want to be able to give back in that sense, where when I was in culinary school, like there was no one who looked like me. Like there was no, like whenever there was like a career day, or there was like someone from the outside would come talk to the culinary students, or we would go visit someone's restaurant or something. They didn't. The person never looked like me, and so like I wanted to be, after getting to a certain point in my career, I wanted to be able to be that person, that person of color that a culinary student could look at and see him and say like, oh man, he looks like me, and he's gotten this far. So like, I can do this.
Culinary school, and I've never taken a cooking class. I'm not a good cook at all. It's just the basics from what I understand. What are all the classes?
Yeah, so great question, because it was all new to me. And yeah, you got to start from the basics. You have to start literally from the basics, and like just talk. Like first it was like talking about food, where these things come from. Yeah, I had to take there was a class called garmager, and it's a French word. And this is garmager is where you learn all the different cuts. You learn how to cut things. You learn how to cut small dice, medium dice, brunoise. You learn how to make a flour from a strawberry. You learn how to make.
I've tried that once. Fancy as I'm. But go ahead.
I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. But like, it took me a while. Like, I was like, yeah. But garmager is one of them. There was another class called meat essences, where like, literally analyzing different cuts of meat and the anatomy of like different animals, that we all eat. And so, I would go into a classroom, and there would be this big hook in the middle of the classroom that came down from the ceiling, and there's a pig carcass like on the hook, and all of our seating is all around it, and the chef instructor is literally going through the different parts of the pig, and like the tenderloin, and where it comes from, where is it on a pig's body, like all these different cuts, and just learning literally the anatomy of these different animals. And that's like the foundation, that the foundation is like learning where it comes from first before you just jump into the kitchen and just start cooking a bunch of food. I also had to take food math. I had to take food history. I took uh, wine and spirits class, and then I got into the kitchen, and then I got into like basic cooking, where you're in the kitchen and like you're using these skills, you're cutting things, and then it was really cool because there was a cafe called the Norseman, which was it was sort of attached to the kitchen that where we're all learning, and the school. So it's like the students were cooking for the cafe, and that was great just to have that experience where like I'm making like simple pasta dishes, and other students that go to the school can actually just come and just buy some pasta.
Cool.
So that was really cool, getting that hands-on experience like that, getting that experience in a kitchen, like on the line, working with others. In that basic cooking class, we did a lot of different things. Like I learned about like frog legs.
Yeah, exposing you to things maybe you wouldn't have thought of doing by yourself.
Exactly. Which is very necessary. I mean, like, so taking these classes, the meat analysis, the garde manger, the basic cooking, then moving on to advanced cooking, basic baking, croissant dough, pâte à choux dough, like learning how to decorate a cake, learning how to bake cookies and make cookie dough, and like all these different things. Like, just, I mean, my mind was so stimulated and just being open to all these new things. And once your mind opens up to new things, then you can get even more creative, so like it really opened up my creativity being able to go to culinary school.
I love that. I like how you just like coasted over the foundation, and how obviously it was really important for you because you didn't grow up with it. But then once let's say you graduated, got your cap and gown, you're on to the next.
Yes.
What was the next few steps for you and your next career and how you moved forward?
Well, the good part was that I had a job like before school was even over. Like I was in my last year, and I was able to find a job. It was at a small restaurant called Johnny Carino's, which is like, it's a franchise restaurant, and they're still around to this day. But this is years and years ago, and it was a great foundation for me though. I worked the pizza station at this Italian restaurant, and it was a great learning experience for my first job. Like, even after going to culinary school, like you get these basic skills and everything, but it isn't until you actually get like thrown into a job where, like, you're not in school anymore. Like, someone's going to give you a task and you need to do that task. And if you don't do it right, chances are you will probably lose that job. So like it feels different when you're not around just a bunch of classmates and you can just joke about it if you mess up. You know what I mean? And so like, but it was great foundation for me. I worked there for about a year. I went from the pizza station to the grill, and I was grilling and just learning. I was such a sponge, like learning so much, because even though I had finished culinary school, it's not like I finished culinary school and I was just like, yeah, I'm a chef now. Like it was like, nah, it was like a lot of learning still going on, and a lot of insecurity, and just a lot of questioning, and like, is this really what I want to do? Like, checking in with myself all the time, not being 100% sure of myself, working through those emotions, working through those feelings, going to work. And from there, after my first job, I got my first fine dining job at a fine dining restaurant, and I'll never forget. I remember all these jobs because they had such an impact on my development, just so much, even just as a young man being fresh out of high school. And so I worked at a place called Vadavi, and it's a bistro wine bar, really upscale, nice corporate place, and it was a wide open kitchen. So literally everything that was being cooked, you could you could see all the chefs and everyone cooking. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was intense, and I was really really nervous because this was like the very first job where I actually there was a there was an executive chef, and the executive chef was like this, like, he stood really tall, and like he didn't smile, and he just had this like very stern look. And if you messed up, he would yell at you, and like, so that was my first time experiencing that. So that was like a whole nother level where it was like, if I messed up, not only could I lose my job, but before I lose the job, get yelled at and disrespected pretty bad. which is like, it's very much like kitchen culture, not like, I don't know, I don't want anyone watching this to think that like, I don't know. There's a culture to being a chef and working in the kitchen, and that culture is changing. I mean, this is over like 15 years ago, but like, that culture is changing now. But there is, like sort of this like, kind of cutthroat culture in a kitchen when you're learning how to cook and you're competing and you're working alongside other chefs that have gone to like big name culinary schools, and they think they're top notch and everything, and you went to this small culinary school, so they're like, oh yeah, what do you know? And what I found out, interesting fact that I found out, is that all of these culinary schools, whether the small ones or the big name ones, they're all accredited under the same foundation. So yeah, so really, in the grand scheme of things, a few things may be different that vary from school to school, but like, it's really the name that you pay for. So
Let me highlight that you got that confidence and you became the boss. And so,
man, yeah,
like this big moment for you. Let's
absolutely. Absolutely. Like, these are experiences that I reflect on all the time. Like, I still remember these jobs. I remember how it felt to mess up on a dish and to send it down the line, and the chef, and I'm watching, just trying to make sure that the chef is okay with what I did, and the food finally gets to him, and he looks at it and he throws it in the garbage, and then he says, make it again. And then just feeling like those emotions and how that felt when you're learning a craft. It's like, I don't know, like, if it was any other situation, it'd be like, well, whatever. But like, when you're trying to learn this craft, and the person that's in charge, you're looking to impress that person, or just you're looking to get some reassurance from that person that you're doing a good job. So like, when you're in that process of learning, and the person sees what you did, and he's like, yeah, no. And then it's like, yeah, just make it over again. It kind of, it kind of chips away at your confidence.
just kidding.
Ego,
Yeah.
for sure. Ego, confidence. And it's just like, you have to really, really humble yourself and put the ego aside and really, really get it down. And so, tons and tons of stories like that go through my career.
Now that you're in that position, I mean, you're top dog. So I'm sure there were things that you learned from your past experiences, maybe that you didn't want to transfer over to your position now. So how do you address it in your situations? Are you as cutthroat, or do you handle things differently because of the experience you had? Are you trying to change the culture? It would be interesting to hear about that.
Yeah. So to answer your question, absolutely. I definitely want to change the culture, because the one thing about that cutthroat, culture in the kitchen is that, everyone learns a different way. We all have different learning styles, and for some people, they learn like that. They learn by like someone yelling at them and telling them they did it wrong and do it over again. That really, fires people up and gets them to learn. For me, even though that's what was going on for me, that's not how I learn. That's not what motivates. That's not what inspires me. It's not. And so for me, in the position that I'm in, a position of power, It's like I always want to. I always told myself that I was going to change that. I always told myself that I was going to be the different chef that was more encouraging and supportive instead of disrespectful and aggressive. I don't think that it was necessary because for me, when I get encouragement and support, and you tell me these are the things, hey, you know what, this is good, but we can do better. So how about you work on this and this, and get back to me with something. And so that's stuff that like really it makes me feel good. It makes me feel inspired, and it makes me want to do a better job. But if you're just gonna yell at me and throw the food away and be disrespectful, it's sort of discouraging. And so, no, I'm the complete opposite in the kitchen. Anyone that's ever worked for me or worked with me knows that about me. I smile a lot. I like to have fun. I like to have a good time in the kitchen. I do take my work very, very seriously, though. I don't at all think that it's just all funny. It's not all fun and games in the kitchen. And so I'm all business in the kitchen, but I just like to have a good time being all business.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's definitely achievable. I think that's people are doing that in general with work culture. You don't have to be so cutthroat and negative and put someone down or anything like that. You can, to get a good product, you can work as a team, you pump each other up. Like anyone who played sports, like I did, I'd rather have a teammate like be like, okay, nice job, but maybe let's work on this.
Right.
It makes you feel like they're invested in you and your well-being and your talent, and then you even get a better product because everybody's happy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Not really, but
in a perfect world, that's the goal.
Yes, but it's nice. I have the same mindset, and you do too. I do think that there are people these days who are really soaking in their past experiences and wanting to change things. And I just think you can implement that in your life in general, not even.
Yeah.
Let me
completely agree.
I want to know about your work-life balance. I know we just chit-chatted off recording about this. It is hard to put things down. And so what is that like for you? I don't know a ton of food industry. So, but I can imagine, I mean, restaurants are open late. I mean, you're out of school, there's different things. So how do you manage your work-life balance?
It's an ongoing it's an ongoing like the the best way to do it is to talk about it, because like if I can talk and communicate with someone about what I have going on, it just it brings it all to the forefront for me, because it's very easy for me to get caught up in work and just be caught up in work and just letting work bleed into personal time, letting work bleed into just time that I should be like relaxing or spending time with family. Like last night, my daughter and I were talking, and we have these sort of like adult conversations about life. And she asked me, she's like, "Dad, how are you doing? Like, how's it going?" And so I was, let me tell you, man. No. Thank you so much for asking. like, but like, I had to be. I was very honest with her. Like, I'm very transparent with my daughter about when we talk about life stuff. And so I was telling her that I have a lot of these are all these work things that I have going on, and I'm in the process of making work life boundaries, like setting boundaries for work. Like when I'm done working, like I'm done working at this time, and that's it. I'm not working anymore, and I'm gonna go on, and I'm gonna focus on other stuff because I have other things to do too. So like I don't think there's no like really clear answer for it. It's just like something that I have to revisit weekly. I think that a couple of the tools that I use now is like I use my calendar a lot more efficiently now. My calendar, I before I would just put things on my calendar, and there's no real time frame. I'll just, you know, it's just like kind of like I'm done whenever, and then it'll bleed into all the other things on my calendar, and just like not having very clear boundaries of when I'm gonna finish this and start this. And I think just like revisiting that has been really, really good, and putting a clear time frames on things. And when I say I'm done for the day. And also one of the things that my daughter and I did last night, we made some vision boards. We did some short-term goals and some things that we want to focus on or pursue or just get done in like the next, you know, few months or so. And I think doing that often is really, really good too. Like setting goals is a great way to really look at what you have going on and look at where you're investing your time and how to manage that time, you know? So like definitely vision board, definitely using my calendar more efficiently. And when work is done, just being very mindful and being very clear that work is done now and I'm going to move on to do something else.
Right.
It's easier said than done, but it needs to be revisited literally every week. When you have a busy schedule, so my schedule is like executive chef, it's like private chef, private clients, traveling all over the place. It's, you know, I'm a parent. It's, you know, personal time. What do I do just for my personal time and my personal interests, things that I like and don't like? Like, what do I do to just relax? Yeah, it's relaxing. It's, you know, it's all the thing, and just finding balance in all of that. It's an ongoing weekly process.
And like the vision board is a nice idea because we all have goals, and we have all these different goals and all these different genres of things that we want to do in our life, you know, with family, yeah, relaxing, or our career. And so it's nice to lay that all out on the table so you can like see it and visualize it, remember it. With our time running out in just a few minutes.
Oh wow, that was quick.
Advice, right? But what would your advice be for someone who maybe was in your shoes, of who's creative, or who, let's say, little me, I didn't cook, but I thought maybe I wanted to be a chef, or, you know, anyone who was thinking about a career path that's similar to yours, what would your advice be?
My advice for sure is never, never, never give up, and trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust in the things that you know that you are good at. And regardless of what anyone is saying on the outside, whether it's family, whether it's friends, regardless of what anyone else is saying, if you believe that you can make this happen, you should pursue it and make it happen. And for me, my biggest supporters in my development as a chef through my career, from the early parts of my career even to now, my biggest supporters have all been my friends. My friends, the people that are the friends that are really, really close to me, the friends that I would hang out with, and instead of going out to a restaurant, the friends that would say, you know what, we're all gonna spend about $20 at the restaurant, or $30 or $40 or whatever. You know what? Why don't we all give our money to Terry and let him cook something, and then we can all just hang out here, like at home. You know, so like that, like those types of
supportive people is a big thing for you.
Supportive people is a big thing, because to be honest, my family did not support my vision. My family did not support my decision to go to culinary school. They didn't support being a chef as a career, because there's no chefs in my family. There was nothing to go off of. So for everyone in my family, including my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sister, like no one, it was like, what? You got to be joking, right? Like, okay, like find like a real career, you know. And that was coming from at home, you know, so it was very tough to navigate through that navigate through those emotions. But my friends were the complete opposite. They were so excited of what I was pursuing. It really gave me that boost of encouragement that I felt like I needed. So my advice to anyone out there is to believe in yourself, believe in the things that you know you are already good at. Find inspiration because it's all around, whether your inspiration is going outside and being in nature, whether your inspiration is going to be being around your friends and feeling that encouragement from them, whether your encouragement is your parents, whether your encouragement is just getting up every day and just doing it over and over again in order to feel that encouragement yourself, you know. So pursue the things that you know that you are good at, and have confidence even when you don't, you don't and it's really really tough. Continue to build, continue to work at it, and all hard work pays off. I believe that 100% all hard work pays off.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I
It's
appreciate
no
it.
problem at all. This has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you for reaching out to me. And I hope that this message inspires people. And I hope that even if you don't cook, if you're involved in anything creative, that it'll help you get to where you're trying to be.